The pressure's
Alright,
on.
let's get the east side.
I'm on the west.
Oh my god, everybody's. Alright,
Oh,
I'm
all
on you.
three of them are lit.
Yeah, everybody's
Oh,
lit
no.
right now.
Guys, no.
Finish him!
Elevate you?
Yes!
No.
Oh, jeez, that was hilarious. Getting gamers to play support classes is generally quite a difficult task. It takes a certain type of person to play the medic or the technician, and finding people to fill these roles is an issue that isn't limited to just Battlefront. Why would people strive to heal and boost others when the action and the explosions and the violence is where all the fun is at? But in Battlefront 2, they flipped this role on its head, and with the officer class, support in an FPS is finally an enjoyable experience. Today, we'll be breaking down the officer class's ability cards, and again, our focus will only be on the ability cards and not the boost cards. Starting right away with our left trigger abilities, the improved flash grenade. This grenade is a staple of first-person shooters commonly found in games like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike, except this flashbang has a unique trigger ability. Re-triggering the grenade will cause it to detonate rather than waiting on a timer. This action causes the grenade to split, creating a larger blast radius. It does damage enemies as well, but its damage output is very minimal. It can, however, kill enemies on low health with a close or direct shot. The next card for this slot is the homing shot. Familiar to people who played Battlefront 1, the officer pulls out a small rocket launcher, aims down his sights, locks onto an enemy, and fires a shot that will track their movements. You have a total of 3 shots to fire before the card is put on cooldown. The rockets deal out small amounts of damage, so with full health enemies, you will have to land at least 2 rockets to make a lethal kill, and 3 rockets if they're a heavy unit. It would be wise to avoid using this on maps with a lot of obstacles or indoors, such as Endor or Tatooine, as the rockets can be easily avoided by your enemies. Stick to using this on large open maps, such as Crate or Naboo. The final card in this slot is Diffuser. When activated, this card diffuses any explosives such as thermal detonators, impact grenades and flash grenades in a small radius centering around you. It is very handy for close combat fights where people are throwing grenades left, right and centre, as it takes out the edge of what they were hoping to achieve with their abilities. It has a small radius of 4 meters at its base, but it can be upgraded to a maximum of 6 meters, which is the base blast radius of a thermal detonator. That means that you're working with a very small area, so if you're trying to protect teammates, you really need to get into the thick of choke points so any incoming grenades pass over you, so you can deactivate them. I found it difficult to use in 1v1s as my reflexes aren't quick enough to react to oncoming grenades when in the heat of the battle, and I've had minimal success with this card, so it's a bit of a miss with me. Moving on now to the officer's signature ability, Command. With this ability, the officer buffs your allies in a triangular radius in front of him. Command has 3 available perks, all of which have their own unique feel. The first of these is Blast Command. This perk gives unlimited blaster cooling to your allies, so they can shoot uninterrupted without the need for a cooldown for a brief period of time. The second of these is Recharge Command. This perk immediately resets the cooldown of all of your allies' cards and increases their recharge speed for a short period of time. Using this in the heat of battle, or immediately following capturing an objective, gives your allies all their available resources for the enemy's counterattack. The last of these is Improved Battle Command. This perk grants a health bonus to your allies. Now keep in mind that all of the command abilities affects not only your allies, but also yourself, so all of the perks and benefits are given to you as well. You can see on the icon of the ability wheel the number of troops that will be affected by your command ability. Each troop you have in the wheel grants you 25 battle points, so a good strategy to farm is to just give the bonus to everyone at the beginning of the game and farm big points for doing nothing. Moving on to our right trigger abilities, we start with the Improved Blaster Turret. Now this card is similar to the Ion turret we covered in the last video, except this turret fires exclusively on troop and hero units, so don't try taking down an ATST with this one. As with most turrets, map knowledge is crucial for you to place your turret in places that has a good line of sight on enemies, but also offers good cover for your turret. It has 2 re-trigger abilities. The first is if you tap the trigger button, the turret will repair itself if it has taken damage. The second ability is if you hold the trigger button, which is a self-detonation. It has a medium radius and medium damage. It is a great ability to re-trigger when it's on its last legs. You can also pick your turret up by approaching it and holding the reload button. This puts the turret back in your pocket and is ready to use again without having to wait for a cooldown, so you can place it somewhere else instantly, which is fantastic for an ever-changing battlefield. The next ability is the Squad Shield, the same ability as in Leia's kit. You deploy a large shield on the ground, creating a force field that stops all enemy projectiles. The shield can be penetrated by enemies walking into the field, creating a close combat duel where skill comes heavily into play. This card is incredibly useful for protecting people or yourself when capping objectives, a true example of a support ability. You can also deactivate it by hitting the activation button again. The last card is Disruption. When you activate this card, an EMP looking strike blasts out in a small radius around the officer. Any enemy caught in this blast immediately has their weapon overheated and renders it unusable for a short period of time. While at a glance this card may seem like a great tactic to use when someone gets the jump on you, it has a small delay on it before the ability is activated, so in my opinion this card has more potential for an ambush where you have time to activate it. And with that, we have seen what the officer has to offer. The cards I run for the officer are the Improved Flash Grenade, Improved Blaster Turret, and Improved Battle Command. I like to dish out damage, and the Blaster Turret has racked up a few sneaky kills for me when I have been somewhere else on the battlefield. I should also point out that while the command abilities have a little animation of the officer putting his arm up, you can cancel this out in a roll, so I like to have Battle Command at my disposal in case someone starts shooting me unexpectedly. Then I can roll out of the way, cancel the animation, and get some health back before composing myself for a counterattack. Thank you so much for watching. In my next video I will be covering the last class of Battlefront 2, the Specialist. So hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and tell Chewie to punch it because we'll have more content coming to you very soon. If you've enjoyed the video, a like would be very much appreciated. I'll be streaming every day on Twitch. I'll leave the link in the description and I'd love to see you guys watching the stream. In the meantime, thanks again, may the Force be with you, and I'll see you on the battlefront.